In this video, I wanted to take you through a call I had. I hopped on this call to help him out with a product launch that he was doing, just to give, some quick insights into KPIs and listing stuff. For context, I've been doing Amazon for about 6 years now, and I'm doing a bit over 100 grand a month. So I'm pretty new to this, but I think I have enough experience to give some insights for things like listing or ads. We're gonna go over some basic things like cost of goods optimization, ads optimization, basic inventory management, and then some miscellaneous questions. You can sort of skip around the video as you want. There's some timestamps down below, but we're gonna get started with cost of goods. First, let's look at some of the cost of goods changes that I think you can make.
I did. So I was looking at another product and I ended up reaching out to a bunch of suppliers. It's in the same niche. I was talking to a supplier and then I was looking at his store or whatever. And then I noticed he also had then I was actually able to get a price for $17. I think I'm gonna order a sample and then see how it is from there.
Before we ever got into this call, I actually did some back-end sourcing to try and find a cheaper supplier for him, and I did. Like before, he was paying $21.90, and I was able to get quotes at $19.60 for his particular product before shipping. But it turns out while I was doing that, he was also doing the same thing, and he found ones for way cheaper. My assumption is he actually found a way to reduce the size of some of the piping of the product. I can't tell you what the product is, but there's some pipes in it and you can reduce the size of it. If he's able to do that and quality stays the same, then that's great because he can also then ship lighter, making his overall COGS much better. But yeah, that alone, that's a huge upgrade in terms of margin. Yeah, you can't really beat that, but there's two parts to COGS. There's actually what you pay for the product and also the shipping. Oftentimes shipping is the biggest part, so let's get into that. Just baseline, you could reduce your cost of goods by like $5 just from shipping. Even with your smaller order quantity and it being oversized, you were paying $1.57, but I got it quoted from my guy at 0.94. Yeah, real quick for context, when I'm saying those numbers, I'm saying 0.94 per kg. When you're doing a freight from China, you're usually talking about a per kg rate. And if you're getting quoted for shipping, they're gonna be quoting you on a per kg basis. But yeah, in this case, he was paying $1.57 per kg shipped. I'll be honest, you should never have your price per kg be that high unless you're either a brand new seller, so it's like your first time shipping with anybody, so you're not really able to get good rates, or if you're shipping like a minuscule shipment. Yeah, like to give you an idea, 0.94 a kg, that's with a very tiny order quantity. If he had like a real good sized order, he should be getting closer to like a 0.8 or a 0.85 for an oversized shipment. To give you an idea, if your product isn't oversized, you should not be paying more than like 0.7 a kg. And as you get bigger order quantities, you should be getting closer and closer to 0.5 or 0.6. To give you an idea, in order to get the most ideal possible shipping price, it needs to be shipped to the West Coast, to a place that's very close to the West Coast, with an item that's extremely heavy compared to its volume, and you need to ship a lot of kilos. So if you get all those, you should be able to get extremely cheap, but anything that deviates further from that, it's just gonna get more and more expensive. But yeah, if you have any questions about shipping, just drop them in the comments. I'm sure people will respond. If they don't, I will. But yeah, let's look into his listing. And I looked over your listing. Your listing's like really solid. I can't think of anything there. The only thing I could think of is maybe instead of doing pink, you do like a black, just so it's more generic.
Because I found the market and then I was like, well, I need a differentiator. And like most people that buy this are going to be females or like moms for their daughters kind of thing.
I don't know if it does significantly better. It's just if all the top guys are a generic color, it probably makes a difference. Yeah, so that conversation there sort of hints at what the product is sort of used for. It's very much targeted towards young girls, and so for that reason, he chose that color as a differentiation because no one else had that color. He thought that'd be a good idea. I kind of agree with him. That's probably a good idea. But the top sellers in this niche are actually all generic colors, and for that reason, I think it would probably be a good idea in future to test a generic color variation, because by having that pink, you sort of exclude anyone who doesn't like pink. There's gonna be a lot more people who are okay with like a black or a gray as opposed to like hot pink or like lime green. So that's a possibility for increasing conversion rate on a different variant in the future. Just another option. Well, you have normal A+, right? I didn't check.
No, I have no A+ content at all.
Oh, you have no A+, period? Oh. No. Then yes. Because just having A+ at all will make a difference. It's not going to be a huge difference, like
5%, but it's a million golden babies. There's no silver bullets, as they say.
And yeah, I almost forgot to ask him about A+. It's just stuff at the bottom of the listing below the fold. It's not necessarily a huge driver of conversion rate when it comes to Amazon, but it's one of those where it's just, why wouldn't you do it? If you're already getting a listing made, it's not usually extra to have them make that, and it'll increase conversion rate, not necessarily a ton, maybe by 5 to 10%, but it's a million golden babies with this game. It's not one thing that increases your conversion rate. It's not just price or just the listing or just your ads. It's a million different things and a million subsets under each thing. So I would say go ahead and get it done. Yeah. I forgot to intro it in the call right here, but we're gonna go ahead and get into the ads. We're gonna go over his tacos, his bids, and his placements. If you don't know what those are, I'm gonna give a brief explanation. I'm not necessarily the best at this, but I think I know enough to sort of give a basic understanding of it. But yeah, let's get into it.
What do you know what your total A cost is right now?
Oh, tacos. It was around 30% like a couple of days ago.
But yeah, if you don't know what total A cost is, what it is ad spend divided by total sales, and then you just have it as a percent. So if you have 10,000 in sales and 3,000 in ad spend, you'll have a 30% tacos. Given that this is a brand new launch, a 30% total A cost is not terrible, but long term is if you have a listing on Amazon at all, period, your sweet spot's going to be about 8 to 12%. But yeah, that's just something to use as a rule of thumb. I think we're going to get into bids real quick.
For one, pretty high CPC I see, but
yeah,
that seems to be just the trend of the market.
Yeah, like it's actually really high. Like for my main keyword, like I think my bid right now is at 370, and I'm still not even like at the top sometimes.
But yeah, this is just the unfortunate reality of it. Sometimes it's a really competitive market, and if you have a bunch of people come into a brand new market, guess what? CPCs get pushed through the roof, because guess what? The advertising is an auction. The more people there are who are able to spend more money, the more that this number is going to get inflated. So that's just the unfortunate reality of where he's at right now. He just got unlucky. $3.70 CPC is extremely high, especially considering like his price point. He's at $90 and the average is about 100. It's kind of hard to make that work. Like sometimes you're in a position where you might just be overbidding. Like you just keep driving up your bid because you want to try to get more traffic, but you're not. There's a meme for that. In his case, his bids and CPC are about where the market is. Yeah, I've seen this market before. He's sort of bidding where everyone else is. It's just expensive.
So you have a total of 4 active campaigns.
Yeah.
We'll scroll over to the right a little bit. Oh, dang. So you have one that's doing quite well. Then clicking on that ad group, let's see some. Oh, and you're bidding 370. Wow.
Yeah. This is the one with the high cost per click.
Are you like budget limited? Like, what's your budget on this?
I think this one's got like a $30 one. 30.
Okay, so you're not like running out of budget at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, so in this case, he's not budget capped, but the reason I asked this question is sometimes people will be budget capped and they'll be running out of budget on their campaigns at like 8 in the morning or noon. When you're in a spot like that, that means that you can do one of two things. You can, one, raise the budget and just be able to spend more at the same performance. And if you can do that and it has good performance, then amazing. But another thing you can do is lower your bid. So if you're a budget capped and you're spending $20 a day when you could be spending 80, that means that if you lowered your bid a bit, you would still be spending that $20, but you would be able to do it at a lower CPC. So you'd get more traffic for the same price and not have to worry about, spending less and stuff like that. So that's the reason I asked about this, but in his scenario, it doesn't matter. I'm just giving you context on why I would ask that kind of question. We looked through a lot of other stuff, but I'm not really gonna show it because it's not actually helpful. A lot of his stuff doesn't quite have enough data to do a ton of optimization. So we're gonna look at sort of some more top-down stuff. So next up, we're gonna get into placements, and I'll explain more about that afterwards, but yeah, let's get into it.
Yeah, so if you look there, almost all of your sales are coming from that rest search. So you have a 30% conversion rate on rest search, but then very little on product pages. We'll come back to this. If the numbers look like that across all of your campaigns, then that would mean we want to find a way to reduce the product page CPC. But let's not touch that yet. Let's look at the some other campaigns, because if you have other campaigns where it doesn't have that type of trend, then we'll just say that it's not got the data yet.
All right, yeah, before we check into the next campaign and show you the placements there, I just want to give you some context on what placements are. So there's 3 places where your ads can pop up. There's top of search, which is one of the first 4 placements when in a search page when you search on Amazon. So like, let's say you type in rug, the first 4 placements are gonna be ads, and all of those count as top of search. It's only the first page. So if it's the first 4 on the second page, it's still rest of search. What rest of search is, anything on the search page that isn't that first placement. So everything else. And then product pages are just the placements on a product detail page. So let's say you click onto one of those rug listings, you scroll down, you'll see a bunch of like other listings that you can click on. All of those are ads. And real quick for context, the reason that we're looking at that is a lot of times these different placements will convert differently. So if you look in his case with this single campaign, his rest of search is doing a 30% conversion rate, whereas he's doing a 3% on product pages, despite spending the same per click on both. So this is a way to optimize on a non-keyword level, because on the keyword level, it may look fine, and then you look here and see, oh, like all my sales are coming from one location, but my spend's coming from another. Oh, like if I change this around, I could like get a huge increase in performance. And that's what it looks like it is here. But we're gonna look at the placements on the next campaigns and the next after that before making a full judgment on that. In just a second, I'll also show you the blended data for all of these campaigns together for the placements. That way you can see what it actually looks like instead of a campaign level. And also I'll show you how to fix it yourself if you have that kind of issue. But let's get into that.
As you can see again, like you have 80 clicks on product pages with only 1 order. That's a bit more telling. It makes me lean to think that product pages convert very poorly for you.
All right, so we ended up going through all of his campaigns, but I'm not really gonna show them all just because there's not enough data in all of them for it to be interesting. But what I am gonna do is show you the blended data for all of the placements across those campaigns. That way you can see on an overall level what placements are converting the best. So we can look here at the document I just made. This is the imported data. I just typed it out. You can pause it if you want. But here's the blended data. So top of search, he had a $3.50 CPC, but he only had 4 clicks. So there's not really any data to work off of there, so we can go and like whatever, who cares. But rest of search, 100 clicks and 8 orders with a 7.8% conversion rate, 43% ACoS. Not bad. But this right here is the insane part. He had 150 clicks for product pages, but only 2 orders, having a 240% ACoS with a 1.3% conversion rate. Essentially what that means is these blended together gets him to like an 85% ACoS within his campaigns. If in theory he did not have any product page placements, he would be at a 43% ACoS. In theory, obviously, this isn't how it works in reality. Real quick, I want to take you through how you could reduce the product page placements yourself by showing you an example campaign that I have. Now I do have to blur some of this, but this is an actual campaign that I am running right now. And this month so far, I have 8 orders, 3 from rest of search and 5 from product pages. So product pages are getting a decent amount of orders, but they have a pretty darn high ACoS. So how would I go about changing this? What I would have to do is go over to ad groups, click into the ad group, and go over to targeting, and then scroll down. So in this case, I want to reduce product page placements only. So how would I do that? I would select everything, adjust bid, and decrease bid by percentage. In this case, I'm gonna do 10%. I'm not actually gonna click save, I'm just doing this to show you as an example. So what I would do is I would decrease by 10%. I would then go back to the campaign level, go back to bid adjustments, and everything that isn't product pages, I would increase by 10%. So I would change top of search to 10% and rest of search to 25%. So that means effectively, these 2 placements will be at the exact same bid, whereas product pages will be down 10%. That's the idea of it. Now, obviously, it's not exactly that. When you reduce by 10 and then increase by 10, you would go from 100 down to 90 up to 99. So it's not quite exactly accurate, but that's just how you would do it. That's how I do it personally. So that's what you can do. You can take that to the bank.
What's your strategy on getting like at the top of search organically for your main keywords?
It's some ads, but the thing is, let's say you're ranked like 20th or 30th. If you just try to crank spend and you drive up the ACoS to 100%, you're not going to suddenly start ranking like 5th or 1st. you might go from 30th to 25th, or maybe 20th. Your biggest lever is going to be just your conversion rate and your click-through rate. If you try to scale with just ads, you're just going to end up compressing margin. So you may just find yourself selling more and making less money.
Yeah, to zoom in a bit on that, just spending more is often not the way to start ranking better, because some of your biggest improvements when it comes to ranking is going to come from increasing conversion rate. So for example, if you're converting at 5%, whereas everyone else is converting at 10%, your best way to rank better isn't to just spend more than them, it's just to get up to 10% like everybody else. Now, obviously spending more will help you rank better in a lot of cases. It's just, if you rank slightly better, but you drove your total A cost from 10% to 20%, guess what? You need to have a really, really big increase in sales in order to justify such a huge spend increase. So in my opinion, the best way to do it is just to increase conversion rate or click-through rate, which aren't as fun, but I think they work better. That's my opinion. Yeah.
What do you do for reviews besides FNF and Vine? Do you have any other strategies for that?
No, I'm testing a insert card campaign. If it works, I'll let you know. But the main thing is just sell more. Like right now, there doesn't seem to be like a golden bullet for just getting a high review rate. It's just sell more and wait.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate reality of it. There are some insert campaigns that you can do that are TOS compliant, but they're still all sort of gray areas. Like if you have an insert card campaign that like works and works well, chances are it's not TOS compliant, and eventually Amazon's gonna find out and like get you in big trouble. So I am testing one right now, but I don't expect it to be like crazy. And I'm not even sure it is fully TOS compliant. That's why it's a small test. But yeah, the unfortunate reality of it is you just need to sell more and wait a long time. How do you get 100 reviews? You sell 10,000 units and wait. That's the unfortunate reality of it right now, but yeah. Right here, I'm sort of skipping over an in-gram analysis that I did with him. Because he did not have just a lot of data inside of his ads yet, I wasn't able to run a in-gram analysis successfully. There's just not enough data there to work with. If you don't know what an in-gram analysis is, go to YouTube and just type in PPC Den in-gram analysis. They're gonna give you a pretty good idea of what that is. They're a pretty great company. Love their podcast. That's where I learned almost all of my ad stuff, from their podcast.
I just have a couple of quick questions here, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Do you think I should just focus on this one product for now and not launch any other ones right now? Or do you think I should just do both at the same time?
It sort of depends on how much money you have personally, because it looks like you might need to do a big reorder for this.
I did a reorder with my original manufacturer, the one with 2290. I was talking to KP and Kyle, and they were saying to just do 100 units on the reorder since you don't have that much data yet, because that's how much my first order was. But do you think I should do more than that? Because I could tell her to increase it.
Now, in the video, this is actually what I showed him, but I want to show you separately, just so you know, like, this is like basic inventory management. I'm going to take you through how I personally do my inventory management and how I decide how many to reorder each time. It's kind of basic. It's just a lot of times people just reorder based off of whims, not based off reality. So they may have bought 500 last time. It's like, oh, I'll just buy 750 this time because I feel like I'm selling more. No, just do the math. It's pretty basic. Okay, so we're gonna start off with inputting lead time into this calculator. So for this theoretical product that I have, my production time / lead time is 35 days. All right, now my ship time, since these are air shipped every time, is 15 days. So meaning it takes 15 days to go from factory to Amazon warehouse. Check-in time, I always put this as 14 days. You can play around with that. I just do that to play safe. And then buffer time, meaning you never want to go below this many days of inventory. So you never want to be below 30 days of inventory because you run into conversion rate changes and you run into low inventory fees. To be fair, I don't remember if low inventory fees are still going right now. I don't keep up with it, but I just still do that because of at least the conversion rate changes. I'm gonna give you two different scenarios in terms of units sold. So let's say in scenario one, I'm selling 5 a day of this product. So, 150 a month. That means I should probably be ordering 470 And this product cost me $9.50, so that reorder is going to cost me $4,400. Now, what happens if I start selling real well, I start ranking better, and I get up to selling 9 a day? Boom shakalaka, I need 846, and that's going to cost me $8,000. So I just recommend always doing the basic math. Don't leave your reorders up to chance. Don't think, oh, I'll just reorder when I remember, or don't leave your reorders to chance, or just decide how many you're going to reorder based off of a whim. Just do the math, put it into a calculator so that you're not running out of stock. It's a big deal. But yeah, let's get back into it.
And then last question is like, so how are you able to go from like working a job to like just doing Amazon like full time like so fast? Like I know like a lot of people that are like, they've been in the group for like 4 or 5 years and like they're still not like able to like, you know, like hit like 100K revenue months or like 150. Like how are you able to do that in such like a short period of time? Were you just like always focused on Amazon, or like what was it?
I was very focused on Amazon. I did Amazon actually I've done Amazon since 2018 or 19. 2019 on my own account, a bit before, you know, selling with my dad.
You used to do like wholesale and online arbitrage, right, or something?
I did all online arbitrage. Yeah, I started private label like early 2023, and I think as I lost a ton of money when I started, it's just I put 100% of my money. Like I had a job and I lived with family, and I put 100% of my money in. So that's how I was able to do it fast. It was more just I compressed what most people would normally do. It's not a good idea, because especially if you have like a family and responsibilities. It's just I happen to be young enough and had the money to burn and waste, and the time to waste.
Putting a bunch of your capital into it and just seeing what happens, kind of thing.
Yeah. There's also a side thing. Do you know what ROI is, like when it comes to like a product, like that metric?
Like return on investment?
The higher that number is, the faster you can scale.
Real quick, I want to dive in on that. What ROI is it's just your net profit compared to your cost of goods as a percentage. So meaning, if you spend $5 on a product and each one that you sell profits you net $10, that means your ROI is 200%. Because for every dollar put in, you get 200% back in profit. It's just a metric that measures how profitable you are for every dollar you put in. Because guess what? If one person has a 50% ROI, meaning for every dollar they put in, they get 50 cents back in profit, or $1.50 total. Someone who has a 200% ROI, for every dollar they put in, they get back $3 total and $2 in profit. Guess what? This person is 4 times more efficient. So because of that, you're able to scale way faster because you just have more cash to play with. If you have a 200% ROI, your payouts for Amazon are 2/3 profit, as compared to 1/3 if you have a 50% ROI. I don't know if that really explains it very well, but yeah, that's sort of the.
So like when you're looking at like cost per click for a new product, you just make a campaign with the main keyword and then see what it's like.
I usually just use Helium.
So I think they're like pretty off though. Like for my product in Helium 10, it says like their cost per click is like $1.50 and stuff, where like it's like nowhere close to that.
So what we're talking about here is estimated CPCs for certain keywords. So when you're selling on Amazon, you pay per click. That's the model they have for advertising. And there are tools you can use to actually sort of gauge how much it's going to cost you before you get into a market. That's one of the big things that you want to check before you start selling. The problem is none of them are very accurate. Like there are 2 main ways that you can check right now. First is Helium 10, where you go into like Cerebro, you put in an ASIN that you want to check the keywords for, and it'll show all the estimated CPCs for you. Sometimes those are accurate, sometimes they are way off. You can also check by listing a random product in that niche in your inventory, add that to an Amazon campaign, and then look at what Amazon suggests you bid. Now, both of these can be extremely off. At the end of the day, it's still just a bit of a gamble, and you don't know until you've actually launched and tried selling the product. And sometimes, guess what? You gamble wrong, and it's just going to be way more expensive than you think, and it's just not feasible. That's why a lot of big private label companies, they tend to launch a lot of products just because that sort of negates the whole luck factor.
From what you've seen so far with like how this launches went, like for me, like do you think this is a good product to keep and just keep going at it, or what are your thoughts?
I think it's still kind of early to tell, but I mean, honestly, you're a month in, or really like 3 weeks, like you're at break even.
Yeah.
With without doing like much in terms of optimizing cost of goods or ads or anything like that. So I'd say right now, it looks good. For sure, you should like keep it going.
Yeah, that's all my questions though. I appreciate you like hopping on and helping me out.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep me
And then-
posted. Let me know how it goes.
And I will keep you guys posted as well. In 3 to 6 months, I'll make another video showing where the product is then, how much he's paying in cost of goods, his ads, what's been fixed up, how he's doing better, stuff like that. If you like this video, please share it. And if enough of you like it, I might make another. So if you want me to make another one with you, just let me know in the comments. I'll reach out to you, but it's not a guarantee. It's only if you guys like this sort of format. I put a lot of work into it. Even though it doesn't look that good, I put a lot of work into it. So yeah, let me know. I hope you liked it.
Bye.